Alrighty, folks, we're a little bit early. Just wanted to get things started. Make sure we're ready to start at 8 o'clock. So we'll give it a few more minutes, and then I'll start the discussion right around 8 o'clock. But hope everyone's having a great evening. I think this is going to be a good discussion. Uh oh, Lurch? What are you waiting on from Texas? Oh, waiting on your son. Gotcha. Yeah, it's good to have family back together. That's for sure. I do. I do like having my son back for a little while. He's been staying with us for a little bit. Uh, 28 hours on the bus. Whew, that's a long bus ride. We'll just give it about another minute or two for see a few more people show up, and we'll get going from there. Let me move this a little bit closer. Yo, Armani, man, I had a great day today. One of those chilled out days. Didn't have to. A little bit of work going on. I work from home, so I had a little bit of work going on, but it was pretty much a relaxing day. Bruce, I don't know exactly what happened with that Porsche. He just didn't get off the line. All right, Mike, how you doing, brother? Oh gosh, we got Mac in the house. We're in trouble now. We're definitely in trouble. All right, Frank, I'm gonna answer your question, and then we'll get into. I'll answer your question real quick, and then we'll get into the transmission discussion. But I think it's definitely once you modify your car, either trading it in or selling it to someone like CarMax becomes a little bit more difficult. And as you do more modifications and larger modifications, then those folks won't even take it, and you'll have to sell it on your own. So it depends how you want to sell your car. If you want to trade it in or sell it to a place like CarMax or Carvana, somewhere like that, I wouldn't modify it very much. But if your intent is to sell it yourself in the aftermarket, you're not going to make much money back on those modifications, but you can try and charge a little bit more for your car if you're selling it yourself. All right, Ramon, Pottstown. Hey, I'm from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, brother. I know right where you're at. Ah, Bethlehem. All right, we got a bunch of PA guys in the house. Mac. Yeah, once you start modifying your car, your wife's gonna lock down your pocketbook and keep you in the house. There you go, Bruce. Mod for life, man. That's the best thing to do. If you're gonna mod your car, just keep it and keep on modding and just like you said, bury it with me. Absolutely. All right. I know Mike's probably not gonna agree with me on some of my opinions when it comes to the HP 70. But we're pretty much in line for the most part when it comes to the HP 70, building the HP 70, or going the HP 90 route. Hey Nate, how you doing, brother? I'm doing pretty good. Um, so the HP 70, I'm still on my stock HP 70, and I'm still just over what it's rated for. And really, it comes to pound feet of torque, not necessarily horsepower. So right now, I'm in that 550 ish, 560 range in torque, and that goes to roughly 600 when I throw the nitrous on there. And I haven't ran the nitrous that much, so I'm not gonna go with the 600 number, but with the 550 number that I'm at now, the HP 70 is rated for roughly five. I think it's 516. I've seen 520 pound feet of torque. So as long as you're in close to those numbers, the stock HP 70 will do you okay. I think you're fairly safe. Um, Now coming to doing a built 70, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in the built 70s because Mike will agree with me on that for sure. But I think there is a place for built 70s. I think if you're not a hardcore racer, kind of like me, going to the track every weekend, if you're only going, a couple weekends, a weekend a month, or a weekend every 2 months or whatever to the track, and you're not pushing your car and you're not beating on it like I am. A built 70 tuned correctly, that's the key, right? It's tuned correctly. In that case, or if you're just wanting to run around town and maybe do some pulls on the street and do some street racing type stuff. Um, yeah, I think a built HP 70 would be fine for you. So someone like possibly RT Life. He's up there in power and he's up there in torque, but he's not a drag racer every weekend. He just likes to take his car out, have some fun with it, and play with it. I think a built HP 70 would do him justice. Now, if he starts going to the track and really starting to run his car, then he's gonna have to go the 90 route, which is the way I'm going. So I do think there's a place for keeping your stock 70, and also there's a place for a built 70. I just don't think, and this is just my opinion. I don't have a whole lot of facts to back it up, other than wide body Mike's experience with his built 70. A consistent runner at the track. I just, for the built 70, I don't see it happening. Uh, that's just my opinion. That's my thoughts. Mike, you may agree with those a little bit, or you may totally disagree. But that's just my thoughts on the 70. And you guys know I've beat my 70 to death. It's up over 113,000 miles now, and it gets beat on. It gets beat on every weekend. You guys know that for a fact. there, there's Mike's opinion on the 70. On the 70. And Mike, I think you're 100% spot on, right? If you're going to race and track your car every weekend, 70's not your trans. I don't even, if you're tracking every weekend and beating on it like I do, I'm with you, Mike. I'm not even sure 90 is your trans. Now, the 90 is going to hold you a little bit higher in torque. I think they're rated in 650, 620, somewhere around in there, pound feet of torque. So I think the 90 will do you better and hold you longer as you modify your car. But eventually, if you get up over 650, 700 pound feet of torque, you're going to find out that the 90 is not going to hold very well. Even a built 90, because Mike has beat up his built 90 on the track within a few passes. Um, Mike can. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Ray. I appreciate it. And Mike can give you his experience. You can hit him up on Instagram. He can give you his experience with the built 90. I don't want to, I don't want to. I use him as as my example. But even a built 90 is questionable for the big power cars. When you get up over 1,000 horsepower, 800-900 pound-feet of torque. Even a built 90 isn't going to last you very long. Some of those guys, a lot of the Modern Street Hemi Shootout guys, they carry one or two spare trans with them just because the 90 doesn't hold up to those big power cars. So the 90 will get you safe for some more power, but eventually you may even outpower the 90, and then you're gonna have to look at one of the go-to transmissions, like a turbo 400 Mac turbo 400, going with something like a turbo 400, and really turning your car into a race car at that point. So that's just my quick thoughts on where I think the HP 70 should live and kind of where the HP 90 should live. If you're, I'm looking for that, 850, 900 horsepower, getting into that 650, 700 pound feet of torque. So I'll be right on the edge of a stock 90 at what it's rated at, and we're gonna push it and see what the stock 90 can take, how much it can take, how much abuse it can take, tracking it every weekend like I do. And again, so it's going to be a good comparison, right? We're going to go from now I'm going from me switching from a 70 to a 90. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when we switch to the, yep, there's Mike. Turbo 400 or 4L80 are the go-tos. But it's going to be interesting to see, from a 60-foot and an ET, when we throw the stock 90 in there with the Demon stock trans, see what the difference is from a high stall 70 to a lower stall 90, and see what happens. Mac's got his thoughts. He keeps beating me up. I get it, Mac. I really do. But it's really time for the swap, I think. And eventually, if we don't get the 60 foots we think we're gonna get, and it hurts that 60 foot that much, we'll take the time, send the converter out, get it updated, get a higher stall torque converter, and see what happens from there. All right, I'm gonna go back up into the comments here, see what I missed. RT Hemi, camber in tow after my AED rear arms. So I left it. I went and let Mike go ahead and do an alignment, and it's straight up aligned. I didn't add or subtract any camber or tow out of the car. What's the difference between the two transmission? I think I touched on it. The 70, the 70 is built and tuned to slip a little bit. That's why you get you do see some slippage in the 70, where in the 90 the shifts are a lot crisper and you don't get a lot of that slip unless you're wide body Mike and pushing over 1,000 horsepower and roughly that 1,000-ish, 900 to 1,000-ish pound-feet of torque. Then you're going to get some slip because he's got it a lot bad. But that's the biggest difference. If you've ever, if you drive your car and you have the HP70, you drive your car and you get in a Hellcat and you have them drive, you know what I mean? You just ride in a Hellcat, you can definitely tell the difference between a 70 and a 90. A 90 shifts much harder, shifts a little quicker, and just it even feels beefier when you're, I know that's kind of strange, but if you ride in a Hellcat, you'll know what I'm talking about. And really the big difference is the 90 is built to handle more torque and more power. The 6060 can take in the challenge. Armani, I do not. I have zero experience with the stick transmissions. I don't know if Jay or Dr. Stark, we call him. I don't know if he popped on. They're both stick cars that's in my group, but I really don't know how much the 6060 is rated to handle. You could try a quick Google search. That's where I get a lot of my information. Just do a quick Google search on the 6060, and I bet you it'll pop up somewhere. So there's offset bearings in the rear. Got mine perfect. So that must be going back to the camber and tow question. Thanks, Bruce. You finally spent the money from the giveaway. Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. Oh, solar charge controller for your cat. Awesome, man. That's great, Nate. Hey, that's awesome. Good way to spend the money. Listed 600 for the 60/60 clutch axles and shafts. There you go. There you go. RT Hemi looks like 600 pound-feet of torque. I'm guessing, Bruce, you're talking 600 pound-feet of torque, or were you talking horsepower? Either or, that sounds about right. Yep, stock camber. That's where I'm at. Mike coming in, HP70 is a toy car. It is. Once you get into that higher, once you start pushing the bounds of the limits of the HP70, it starts to become a coin toss. Bruce said he's lowered his 2 inches. Are you gonna put more juice in the bottle? Absolutely. That's the long range plan. Right now we're gonna put the 90 in there. See if we can get a 9 without the juice. If we can't get a 9 without the juice, we'll add the 35 shot. If that doesn't get us a 9, we'll add a 50 shot. And if that doesn't get us a 9, I don't know what will. Really, I expect in good weather, we can get a 9 without the juice. With the juice, hey, we could be 9.8, 9.7, 9.8. If we put the 50 shot in there, 9.7, 9.8, I think that's totally possible with the juice. So long range plan is once we put the build engine in, it is absolutely possibly turn up the boost a bit more, and also add a wet kit and put a little extra nitrous in there. Bruce is saying, why ain't she going back up there? New control arms for the front. Stock 70 is only rated for 700 newton meters. Yeah, I think it's like 516, Mike. You're right on there. And there is no e-billet drum available. Absolutely. At what point does the rear diff become a weak link? We haven't found that yet. Because wide body Mike is pushing over 1,000 horsepower, 900 to 1,000 pound-feet of torque on his diff. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you've changed your diff at all. And y'all know Mike does put a beating on his car as well. So I don't think we found where the breaking point is for the rear diff yet. 305 tire in the rear factory spec is negative 175. Yeah, some people do like to add some. Oh gosh, I'm going to screw this up. I think camber to the wheels, so when the car squats, it doesn't do this. So if you compensate for that, and it's either toe in or toe out. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, they toe them in a little bit, so when the car squats, it actually comes out straight. So if you toe in and you hit it, I think it's like that, or it's like this. I can't remember. So some people do like to either it's I can't remember, to be honest. I'd be lying if I, but I know it's either toe or camber. People like to add a little bit. So like I said, when the car squats, then the tires actually become straight. All right, Mike popping in for 900 to 1K horsepower cars, but it's really unknown how long it will last. Yep. uh, and from what I've seen, probably not very long. Okay, why are stage two cheaper than stage one? Bruce, pop in and which what stages, what modification are you talking about? Stage one, stage two, and here's the problem with the stages, right? There's no set standard on what the stages are and what you're supposed to get out of them. So it's really tough to compare when you say, an HHP stage two is not the same as an MMX stage two or a Texas Speed stage two. They're all different. There's no set standard on what's what. So it's really hard to compare and say why one stage is cheaper than the other. If it's from the same manufacturer, good question. I'm not really sure. Uh, Mike chiming in again with the Turbo 400 or the 4L80. Lots of options out there after, if you decide to get away from the HP 70 and the 90 and you want to go totally out of the box, those two transmissions are the go-to ones. Most people go Turbo 400 because there is a lot more options for the Turbo 400. How does it run without the TCO? Most times you mess with that car when he was start off or going to park. So yeah, so it's uh, uh, Mike. I think the TCM, you turn it into a stick car and then you can run the Turbo 400. But it's all in the tuning. Jesus saves. It's all in the tuning. Man, I keep losing the chat. Gotcha. Mine is a stick, and I make 841 to the wheels. Hey, that's a good number, man. That's if it's a 5.7, 841 to the wheels is definitely healthy. All right, ja, cool. All right, man. Love you too, brother. Appreciate the support. No problem, Nate. You're the man. I'll have to do another giveaway here soon. Yep, RT Hemi, absolutely right. Uh, I'm guessing it's camber because you're quoting camber here for traction. Yep, I think it's they add camber. So like I said, when the car squats when it takes off, the tires are then straight. The clutch is what Mopar says is safe. All right, so we're talking about stick cars again. Compression currently I'm running stock compression. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. Mike may be able to quote what the stock compression is, but the forged engine is right around 10 to 1. I asked the builder to get me as close to 9.5 as he could, and I think all in all he came out to roughly around 10, maybe a little less than 10, but it's right around 10. Record for a 6-speed red eye swap. I don't know. I don't really follow records, just because there's so many caveats, right? I got the record because I have this set up, and then someone's got another record because they have that set up. So I really don't deal with internet records, and I definitely don't keep up the speed. No one swaps to a 6-speed. That's also true. I haven't seen anyone swap to a 6-speed. Hey, geez, that's hey. If you swap to a 6-speed, that's awesome. Banging gears, always a fun thing, man. I love banging gears myself. It's just the automatics are so fast nowadays that stick cars can't keep up. All right, there's the diff question, right? He's still on his stock 309. And yes, diff braces and upgraded trailing arms will save your differential. Um, I have both trailing arms and a diff brace. Though I don't have the highfalutin one that Mike has. I think Mike has the DRS four or DRS DRRS from for performance. I have their cheaper diff brace, and I haven't had any issues yet. I'm too skinny to make mine squat. All right, Bruce, that's pretty good, man. IRS car squat. Yep. Standard V6 swapped Hellcat motor, then swapped red eye blower, and yes, is a 6-speed wide body kit as well. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Jesus, keep right on rolling, brother. Clutch, master cam, etc. Bruce is popping in. I'm not sure what that's answering. 6-speed trans for the. Oh, your car has the 6-speed trans from a 2016 Hellcat. Mike popping in. Yep. So people that are in the racing game, they don't go for the 6-speed. So Jesus, if you're into the track game and running the 6-speed, that's absolutely fine. But Mike's just saying a majority of folks that are in the track game, they go to a turbo 400. Yeah, the 6-speed will hold some power, but eventually you're going to overpower it. If Jay or Mike Stark was in here, they'd let you know. You know what? Look at Mod to Fame in his car, right? If you get into that 1200 horsepower range, he's done a lot of stuff to his transmission to keep up with the power. So be careful on the 6-speed as you add more and more power. Like I said, Jesus, you're right. You're probably good where you're at that 814 ish range or whatever you set up above. But I tell you, once you get up into that 1200, and again, for the transmissions, it's more torque than it is horsepower. But you get over 1,000 horsepower to the wheels, you're going to find that 6-speed is going to have a lot of issues. Yeah, there it is. So if you go to either the manual 6 or turbo 400, you're gonna have to tell the car it's a manual, and then you can then it should work. So Mike's saying the fastest 6 speed is running 9.5. Jesus, if you're only at 800, 814, what you're saying, not sure you're gonna get that 9.5, brother. Not sure you quite have enough horsepower to hit the 9.5. You could probably definitely hit the nines, but not sure you'll make 9.5. Mike popping in if he's swapping to a turbo 400. Don't stay on the stock PCM and go Holly EFI. All right, spoiler alert, folks. Mike's throwing some spoiler alerts out there. Hey, Jesus saves. Hey, man, if you get that 9.5, come back and say, Don, I got my 9.5, and I'll definitely be proud of you for sure. Mopar TY coming. All right, Bruce. Yeah, it's getting a little hard for me to get out and around nowadays. I've been staying pretty close to home for most of my track weekends. All right, Sean, how you doing, brother? Got that peace sign out there. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you're in the DMV, the air this weekend will show nothing. That's for sure. July, August, and most of September, the air is going to be horrible here in the DMV. All right, Mr. Bo Duke, how are you, brother? How you doing? Yeah, we're all waiting for that fall weather. It's like, oh man, winter, we're all waiting for the spring weather, and then summer, we're all waiting for the fall weather. But you know me, I'll be out there racing all through the summer, and try and keep the car content coming. Try and keep some races coming. Do some line up some races, or do something like I did with the Porsche. Line up against somebody, put it up there, and let y'all see what's going on. He says he's just a crazy driver. All right, now just need lower grains for racing. That's right, Mike. We've talked about humidity and grains multiple times on the channel already since we did a little deep dive. What, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 3 weeks ago. But yep, humidity and grains are boosted car killers. Nothing beats a built automatic. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, you get up into horsepower, you're gonna need more fuel. Four best systems out there. All right, Bruce. You have a good night, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Mike banging the Pro Charger, banging the Pro Charger banner. Yep, some of the fastest Hemis out there are Pro Charged. Power to weight, absolutely. Mike's throwing the knowledge out there. Power to weight ratio is a biggie too. All right, Jesus saves. You're R Edmonds 1.3 camber in the rear. There you go. Back to the camber to get your tires straight when you squat at launch. Yeah, Mike, there's plenty of quarter mile or horsepower to quarter mile calculators out there that'll give you a pretty good indication of what your car is going to do depending on what your horsepower is. All right, 212 Madness, how you doing, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, Mike, laying it out there. You got to weigh your car with you in it as you're going to race it. Weigh your car, and that and the horsepower. There's plenty of calculators out there that'll do it for you, and that'll give you a rough idea what you should be running at the track. Yep. Look at Mike, man. He's weighing less than me now, right? So my car is 4340, and I put roughly 750 horsepower. I think we're in the 550 ish torque range. And in good weather, we've seen the car will run 10 threes. Um, so with another 50, 60 horsepower, yeah, I mean you could be in the nines. Like I said, it's going to be tough to get you that 9.5, but if you do it, Jesus saves, come back and let me know. I tell you, brother, if you get a 989, if you get a 989, definitely come back and let me know. Oh, don't bring the Yotes into this. Yep. So Mike coming in at 4,500 pounds. You need 930, not roughly 930 horsepower to hit nine nines. Bone stock weight would be on stock wheels, etc. Yeah. Like I said, Jesus saves. You got to weigh your car the way you race it. So if you have a drag pack, stock weight's not going to do it for you. You could be a little lighter, could be a little heavier. Just all depends. Mike, dropping the knowledge left and right. Not enough sidewall. Yeah, 315s are great, but I really love the Mickey Thompson 305s, the ET Street R's. I really did love them. I'm running the Hoosier bias ply now, 28 by 10.5 by 17 bias plies, and they're doing great. There's nothing wrong with those tires either. Um, I just I want to say the cars felt better when it was on a radial. So eventually, when these bias plies wear out, I'm either going Hoosier DBRs or back to the Mickey Thompson ET Street R's. We'll see. We'll see once we wear these Hoosiers out. Run a 28, 29 inch tall radial. Yep. I've been running 28s and love the 28s. Yeah, Red Eye 989. That's pretty fast for a stock Red Eye. I would question he's done at least a little something to it to get in the nines. Um, The fastest bone stock red eyes I've seen are all in the. I've seen supposedly ones ran 10.0, but the two friends I know that one had a red eye, regular red eye, not a wide body. He ran 10.0 a couple times, 10.0 something, and ran a bunch of 10.1s. I know another guy that's got a wide body, and I think his fastest pass was a 10.3 something. So for stock red eye going 989, not 100% sure on that one. And those guys are both on tires, by the way, drag tires. Yeah, Chris did go. He did go 10.0. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you chiming in, brother. Yeah, so Chris is the one that had the regular body red eye, and he's gone 10.0, and that's in literally perfect weather. And at Cecil County, which tends to be a little bit quicker than other tracks. Not saying it's downhill, but it's a little quicker than the other tracks. Cletus is in a total different level. let's let's not bring Cletus in here. He is on a total different other level, uh, and there's probably way more done to his cars than he posts on YouTube. Um, so just be aware. Cletus is a great guy. I love Cletus. I watch Cletus all the time, and he's doing some amazing things. But I just don't think he throws all of the modifications out there uh, to his cars. So be careful. I'm sure he's got a lot of water to air, air to water, whichever way you want to go with it. A lot of other things to keep his intake temps down, and keep running those speeds that he does in Florida in some pretty crappy weather. Much more crappier than it is here in the DMV. Yeah, track prep is huge. Absolutely, 100%. When the track prep's not there, it's tough to run any good times when you don't have any when the prep is terrible. And yep. Chris says if you go to Sour Horsepower on YouTube, you can see all of his passes. I'm just throwing some crazy videos up here. Yeah, that's Mike. You know the deal. Cletus is just on another level than the cars we're talking about right now, in what we're running now. Mike, when you do what you say you're gonna do, you're starting to get in Cletus territory, man. You're starting to get in that Cletus territory. Yeah, yeah. When it rains, it rains. It's terrible. I actually got caught. I was coming back from Cecil, from the video I did on Monday. I was coming back from Cecil, uh, got roughly just out of the tunnel, and I was on my drag pack, and it started pouring. I mean, it was a downpour, and boy, I was on ice skates the whole time. I was just lucky enough to get off 97 at the next exit. Um, Traffic wasn't awful, but there was a lot of traffic. But I finally pulled over from the far left. If you're not familiar, coming off 895 in the tunnel brings you on the far left of 97. So for me to get off at the next exit, I had to get all the way over to the right, and it's roughly 4 lanes worth of traffic. But luckily, I made it across. Got on some back roads, and it was still super super sketchy on the slicks. So definitely check out the weather before you go somewhere, and you're on your drag pack, because it is not fun once it starts raining. Yeah, for me, it's not about setting a standard, or breaking records, or any. For me, it's more about showing what the 5.7 is capable of, and it's capable of a lot more, even in the stock form, stock bottom end, and the stock trans. It can handle more than a lot of people think, and that's really the only reason I'm doing what I'm doing. And even the next iteration, shake and bake phase two, is still a 5.7, and that's the point, right? If it's built right and done right, the 5.7 is a great platform to start with, no doubt about it. 2013 Challenger RT is orange, with a black TA scoop hood. Uh, Gets the looks. Yeah, I do like those TAs. The TAs are nice. Yeah, the RTs are tuned down quite a bit. They really are. The 5.7, they tune them down, and it's just it is what it is, right? It just leaves that much more room for improvement when you start modifying it. Yeah, 345 is a bit big, especially for the track. 305s are fine. There's even people that run 275s. The Mickey Thompson ET Street are 275s, and they're fine. Did I look at the Vortex before I went Pro Charger? No, James, I did not. Um, and here's the deal: I've said this plenty of times, um, and Mike will disagree with me, sort of, but a blower is a blower is a blower, and it all depends what you want and how you want to do your build. There's nothing wrong with Vortex. There's nothing wrong with Torque Storms. Nothing wrong with Pro Chargers. Nothing wrong with Whipples, Edelbrocks. Um, if you want to do a Hellcat blower swap, nothing wrong with that. Um, it all depends your personal preference, how you want to feel the power, how you want your car to feel, how want your car to drive, and then that'll help you choose which supercharger to go with, because they're all superchargers. But there's some cars out there with Vortex. I haven't seen very many. Normally, it's normally what I see at the track is Pro Charger or Whipples. I really don't see too many more of any of the other things out there. It's primarily Whipples and Pro Chargers. That's right. I got you, Frank. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to add plenty of power to a 5.7. Cam long tube headers is going to get you 80-ish if tuned right. It, so some of this, modifications require a tuner. The tuner's got to be able to tune and know how to tune. That's key. But long tube headers in a cam, 80, 90, fairly easy. And if you want to go straight to the Pro Charger, there's not, or straight to a blower, there's nothing wrong with that either. They'll keep you on low boost, 6 to 8 pounds of boost, and you'll be faster than a Scat Pack just by adding that. All right, Jesus saves car. Get them kids to bed, go to sleep, get some rest. Yeah, the open diffs are rough, Ramon. That's if you're going to track the car, that's definitely something you're going to want to change and go to the 309 LSD. If you're going to be a street racer or a roll racer, open diff's not really going to make a whole lot of difference. But if you're going to go to the track and do the quarter mile from any kind of digs, street racing or on the track, definitely going to have to get those 309 LSDs. All right, our Edmonds, absolutely. Pro Chargers a little bit more, but they give you everything you need, and their instructions are extremely detailed. All right, kid. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. We got about another 10 minutes or so here. I'll just rattle on as I see comments fly by. But yeah, Pro Charger, the kit gives you everything you need. And if it's one of your first modifications, they even give you a tune. If you want to buy their tune, you can purchase the tune kit, and they'll even give you a tune. 17 TA 6 speed, and I want a centrifugal. I didn't know if there was much of a difference. Yeah, James, there is a difference. There are differences between all the superchargers. There are differences between the Torque Storm, the Vortec, and the Pro Charger. And depending on your budget is going to be one, right? So Torque Storm tends to be the budget route to go. But the problem with Torque Storms, you have to buy a lot of additional stuff, and you may have to do some fabrication to make it all work. Vortec, I believe, don't quote me, I think they sell a kit that's bolt-on that you can do yourself. And Pro Charger, I know for a fact they sell the entire kit that you can bolt on yourself. Um, so it's really when you get into these different manufacturers and then there are different levels within each one of the manufacturers, it gets hard to compare things because airflow is different between all of them, and there's differences between all of them. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with any of them. They're all good centrifugal blowers. They're all good ones. Like I said, it all depends on your budget, how much you want to put into it, and how much fabrication you think you can do to make it work, or you just buy the whole kit. Mike dropping it in there again, right? The difference between uh, the Vortec and the Pro Charger versus a screw type, like a Hellcat type blower, a Whipple type blower, is the heat that they produce. The screw type blowers tend to make more heat. Every pound of boost about 10 degrees of heat. Yeah, there you go. So all the companies have a complete kit. I don't, except for I'm not sure. I know the last time I looked at Torque Storm, it was, oh gosh, probably a couple years ago. I know they were just selling their head units, and you had to figure out the rest. They may have a kit now. Yeah, so Mike's dropping some knowledge too, right? The tuner kit, which is you getting the tune. Um, yeah, you got to make sure you get them fuel upgrades. Don't slack on fuel. That's one thing you don't want to slack on. No, it's a direct swap. So that's one thing that's nice about our differentials. Uh, and kid, I don't know what year did you say your car was? Let me go back up. If your car is like a 15 or newer, the LSD swap is yeah. You don't have to tune it. You don't have to do any of that. The car will take care of it itself. Even if you went through a 370 or 390, you still don't. It's one of those mods where obviously it would be better if you did tune it if you went 370, 390, but you don't need to tune it. The car will take care of it itself. All right, Who, thanks for chiming in, brother. I know you got a lot of experience in this stuff too, a lot more experience than I do, and I appreciate you chiming in here. So 2020, yep, kid, absolutely direct swap. No, and like Mike said, it may already be an LSD. You'd have to check it out. Hey Frank, you're welcome. That's kind of why I kind of started this chat, and I really appreciate the smarter folks than me chiming in, especially Wide Body Mike. He's been in the Mopar game for a long time, a whole lot longer than me. I lean on him for a lot of my knowledge that I pick up. Um, and sometimes I don't know if he knows it or not. I just sit there and listen to him talking to other people, just trying to pick up everything I can. Hugh, you're right. Yep, the Pro Charger tune that comes if you get the kit that comes with a tune, it's going to be pretty conservative. So watch out for that. That's why a lot of people buy the tuner kit and they just have their own guy or gal tune their car. Edmund's direct swap for the 2018. Yep, it was a direct swap for my 16. Literally, I went from mine was a 308 open diff, I think it said on the tag. Went to the 309, then went to the 370, and went back to the 309. And I also did Hellcat axles, are also a direct swap. Just remember to put the ABS tone rings in there. Don't forget those, because it'll be ugly if you do. Because I did, and it wasn't pretty. All right, Mike. Thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate it, man. All right, Edmonds. I would try and check your diff. It's a pain in the butt because it's really the tag is in a really rough spot. You almost have to reach around with a camera and take a picture of it. Uh, or you can look up your VIN on, I want to say Dodge.com. Look up your VIN and it might even tell you if it's got a 309 LSD. If you don't have a 309 LSD, it'll be a direct swap. Alrighty, folks, we're closing in on that 1 hour mark, and we're at the bottom of the chat. I think I've hit. I want to say I've hit everyone's questions. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. I try not to. It's a little funky to keep up with the chat. I use OBS to do my streaming, and it's a little funky to keep up with the chat. But it's right here on the screen with me. But it's a little testy sometimes to keep up with the chat. So hopefully I hit everyone's question. I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I apologize. And you can always hit me back up in the comments. If I skip over you, just let me know in the comments, and I'll come back and I'll definitely hit you. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to the 90 swap too. I think it's going to be a good swap when it happens. Um, not sure what it's going to do to the 60 foot in the ET. Uh, some people think that it's probably going to drop a little bit, and it may. It'll be interesting to see, really, and that's what I want to see: a stock 90 versus the 3600 ish stall that I got in the 70 now. Any plans to have a guest on the chat? So having a guest is it's tougher than it sounds. Um, I may try and get a few people on the chat sometime. Hugh, I'll definitely try and do that. I may try and tag up with B Mason, maybe Mod to Fame, RT Life, maybe get Wide Body Mike on here sometime. Get them talking, Vice, just chatting. But it's a good idea. Let me look into it and see how hard it is. How hard it is for the other person to get on and both of us hop on the chat. But Hugh, I'll try that. I'll definitely see what I can do. What RPM does your boost really start to come in at? So it's a belt driven, so it's there as soon as as soon as you punch the gas. But really, you really start feeling it in that 3K range, somewhere around in there. All right, Ramon. You know what? I'll take a look at Maple Grove, and you go Friday at Test and Tune. Let me look into Maple Grove. Maybe I'll try and make a trip up there one Friday, and I'll put it in the community chat. I'll chat it out there and say, hey, I'm heading up to Maple Grove. Who can be there? Who's gonna be there? And see what I can do. Hey, kid, I know I'm speaking for both of those fellas you called out, but Wide Body Mike, this is what he does. Yeah, he just loves Mopar. He loves helping people out. He's saved me countless times from doing a lot of dumb stuff. And Ara Edmonds, right? He's got some knowledge. He's been dropping some knowledge in here too. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone because Don is definitely not the smartest guy in the Mopar community, and I will never claim to be the smartest guy in the Mopar community or cars in general. But all I can do is relay my experience with my car and just what I know from my knowledge. And if I don't know, I have no problems letting you know that I don't know. How early in or did you? I haven't done a knuckle swap. Nope. I'm on stock 5.7 brakes and plan to stay on stock 5.7 brakes. I don't feel a need to go. I talked about brakes a couple weeks ago, but I'm probably gonna stay stock brakes. I I know I know the capability of my brakes, and I stay within that capability. Um, so that's why I don't think I'm gonna. If I do upgrade the brakes, it's gonna be race brakes. It's not gonna be the six piston Brembos in which you need the knuckle swap for. Uh, yep, Edmonds, you're absolutely right. Like I said, right around that 2,800, 3,000 range. I got a 3.6 pulley on mine. Uh, yeah, roughly in that range. All right, James, that's the plan, man. I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff up there, and I'm not gonna throw junk up there. I'm not gonna do what I call the YouTube fillers anymore that I used to do. If I don't have decent content, I'm not gonna put it up there. Nobody watches those old school things anymore. Five things I love, five things I hate, and blah blah blah. I may do some, maybe 115,000 update or 120,000 mile update, something like that. But definitely not gonna try to throw those filler videos, I call them, out there, just because they've been done a gazillion times. So I'm only going to put up content up that I think is worth putting up there. James is wanting to come in higher. Studs Gaming just got a wide body scat. Absolutely love it. Went from a Pursuit 5.7 to a 6.4. Have any clips racing a stock 392? I know a Pro Charger 5.7 will win how much though? So yeah, a Pro Charge 5.7, they're gonna make more power than a stock 6.4. So yeah, you're gonna get walked down. You're gonna get walked down by a Pro Charge 5.7. It may take him a bit to catch up to you, but he's gonna catch up to you. Because a stock 5.7 with a Pro Charger, they're gonna gain. They're gonna be in the, depending on the tuner, 480 to 500 rear wheel horsepower, where you're in the 430s, 440s if you're lucky on a good day, on a stock 6.4. So they're gonna have 60, 70 more horsepower than you. So eventually they're gonna walk you down. Kid, you got it. That's me learning from the experience of others, and applying it to my car. And a lot of 999 update, Tim. You're right, Timothy. I do need to get that 999. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen till fall. I'm expecting a little bit of help when we switch to the 90. We'll see. Some people think I'm going to go a little bit slower. I think I may get a little bit more out of it. But definitely this fall, no doubt. I have no doubt I'll hit that 999 in the fall once the weather clears up. Right now it's just horrible weather. All right, I've gone just over an hour. About to call it quits here. I like to keep these right at an hour. So even people afterwards, that watch the live chat, so it's not, doesn't get into that 2 hours, hour and a half range. All right, Studs Gaming, love the video. I can't lie, I've been watching you for over a year. One of the first vids I remember when you reviews Mopar, Mike's car. Yeah, that was a long video. No, absolutely. A lot of us are just our car guys, right? Don't get me wrong, love Mopars. Absolutely, 100%. 100% Mopar. But there's nothing wrong with a Mustang, nothing wrong with a Camaro, nothing wrong with a Tesla, though I'm not a big EV fan. Nothing wrong with Teslas. Nothing wrong with any of the other cars out there. They all got their pros and cons. They're all expensive, just like Mopars are nowadays. Yeah, I just love all cars. Um, 515 to 540, 11 fives. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, a stock Pro Charge 5.7 is gonna walk down a 6.4. It may take him a little bit, but he's gonna walk you down. All right, Timothy, Mopar, Mopars. All right, man. Studs Gaming. Yeah, you can always hit me up on Instagram. Same, Modern Red Hemi on Instagram. I do try and get back with everyone that hits me up on Instagram. I'm still small enough to where I get a lot on Instagram, but not too much to where, it may take me a day or two to get to you, but I will definitely get back to you on your questions. Or if you hit me up on Instagram. All right, Z. Plenty wrong with a Mustang. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't discriminate. Anybody can get it. All right, folks. Hey, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate everyone supporting the channel, watching the videos, watching those pesky ads, and hopefully you're not skipping them. I understand if you are skipping them. I don't like those ads. I got YouTube Premium, so I don't have to worry about ads when I'm watching videos. I do try and get out and watch. I know a lot of you folks have video YouTube channels as well. I do try and get out there, watch the other channels. I do try and comment when I can. It's just I can't keep up with. I do have a lot of people that have YouTube channels, and it's hard to keep up with. Not only subscribers that have YouTube channels, but the YouTube channels like that I like to watch. Cletus, Street Beat 717, RT Life, those guys. Well, it's hard to keep up. But again, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate everyone supporting the channel. You know the deal. Every red penny from YouTube goes right back into Shake and Bake, and I appreciate your support. So until next time, everybody, adios.